Welcome to Mattys Mental Health Podcast, aiming to spread awareness on mental health by sharing the real-life stories of those who've experienced it firsthand. My friend Nason is here today. How are you, Nason?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing?
Great, man. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming here.
Well, thank you. I've actually watched a bunch of these, and I'm really glad to see what you're doing. It's a really cool little concept. Get people to come on and talk about this kind of stuff. I'm really excited to be here.
Thanks, man. We know each other for a while now.
A couple of years.
I feel like this is the same shit I say. I was like, we've known each other for a while, and then I say, I don't know your story yet, though. And then I explain how we know each other, and then I say, I don't know your story, but I actually don't know your story. But we know each other from
Sports,
ball hockey,
a little bit of that.
a little bit of football.
I'm not athletic as anything, but I try.
Yeah. No, we're line mates in hockey, and
Ball hockey, to be this clear, I can't play ice hockey.
can't skate.
No, I mean,
Me neither, though.
I stop by hitting the wall.
We make good line mates in ice hockey because we both couldn't skate.
So we just gotta stop each other and grab you. Right. Now turn it. Oh, no, play's over. Sorry.
Yeah. And then we're doing some open mics too. We know each other from actually you kind of told me about it and I asked you about it and then.
Yeah, the comedy open mics. It was something I always wanted to do and I decided I'd give it a go and then I mentioned it to you and you're like, it sounds like fun. I'm like, well, come do it.
Yeah, convinced me. And
it was real hard sell.
What's that?
Real hard sell. I'll do it. Alright.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Sure, what time?
Basically how it went. I told you on a Sunday, you're like, alright, I'll be there.
Alright, yeah, sure. Yeah. Monday? Alright. Tell the world about you.
About me. Well, when it came to my mental health, it's not something that I actually think accepted for a long time. When I was younger, I didn't know if I understood. I didn't realize what was happening to me. I was, your usual kid. I played outside and all the fun stuff. And I'd have days where I just, for some reason, like, no, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. I'm mad at everything, and I didn't know why. I'm like, is that just what kids do? So for a long time, I just assumed that's what kids do. The days that your parents are like, oh, they don't want to come out and play today. I'm like, oh, they're just having a bad day. They don't want to come out. Cool. But when I got into high school and the topic of like mental health and whatnot became a subject, I began to question kind of what was going on in my head. And I started pushing away from people a lot in high school. And I assumed it was something to do with this, but I wasn't quite sure. I would have all those little anxiety attacks, but I wasn't sure what it was again. I wasn't educated. I didn't, think to look into it. I just thought, I'm a teenager. I'm having moody things. Like, I'll just leave it alone. And in the last 2 years, I've officially convinced myself I know that I've had bad anxiety, depression, and I've come to accept that, which was almost the beginning of my healing process. I like to think I'm a fairly creative person. I play music. I write songs. I like to do comedy. I like to do acting and all that stuff. And I use that as a good route to express myself. As a kid, as I said, I didn't have that option. The only thing I could do when I was upset was play video games to get out of my world, to pretend I was someone else, and just escape. So I won't get into the depth of what happened, but there was a very significant turn in my life about 7 months ago where everything came to a head and I basically hit rock bottom. I'd been working up 2 years prior. I had a really bad case of not being able to talk to anybody, not having anybody to go to. So when I started having these panic attacks, in like significant ways, I didn't even want to tell my wife. I was worried that if I talked to her, that she would think I'm weird, something's wrong with me, and she wouldn't want to be around. So the older I got, I've known her for 10 years now. I haven't told her until essentially 7 months ago that I was having these issues because I didn't want to scare her off. I have kids. I didn't want to like put them in any situation. So I used to have severe anxiety attacks, and instead of turning to somebody, I would get really drunk. I'd drink 4 or 5 times a week just to sleep. So I could get out of my head. I'd stop thinking. I'd just get drunk. I'd go to bed. I didn't tell my wife, and she could see that I was going through something, but she didn't know how to help me. And a gentleman I work with has pretty severe depression and like mood swings, anxiety and stuff. And through seeing him go through this and hearing him talk, I'm like, I really gotta help this guy. And in turns, me trying to like be there for him and make things easier on him, it taught me how to kind of level myself out a bit. So I started expressing myself in different ways. I'm a cook. And so once I got through this really bad bout of not being happy and like not wanting to be at home, not wanting to be at work, I found something that worked for me, which was expressing myself through my food, expressing myself through my music, through acting, the comedy that I started about a year and a half ago. And I've come an incredible way from this little guy that had no one to talk to, no one to turn to, and this fear that people wouldn't accept me if I was honest about what I was going through.
Right.
So the biggest lesson that I've come through out of this is if you're not happy, if there's something wrong, if something's keeping you down, behind, you need to find someone to talk to. Since I've started talking to my wife, my marriage is better, my whole life is better. The last 2 months, this summer's been the best summer of my life. I'm not hiding my anxiety. I have minor attacks from time to time, but usually they're triggered by something. Mm-hmm. The most recent one I had was for a fair reason. 2 years ago, on July 20th, my youngest son, he was 4 months, went in for open heart surgery. That was before I was talking to my wife about this stuff, and I have very bad anxiety when I go to hospital, so I basically lived in a hospital for 2 weeks. And it was the worst experience of my life because my son, his life was potentially in jeopardy, and I was in a spot that was very uncomfortable. I was still in that phase where I couldn't talk to my wife, and I just freaked out. And if I'd play face when she was around, be happy. It's like, it's okay, we're gonna get through this. I had to be strong for her, but inside, I was worst case scenario. Like, what happens if all this goes awry? And that little voice used to be my entire thought process of, this is the worst thing that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You have no choice. It's gonna happen. So that made growing up really hard. I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't have a lot of people to reach out to because I was like, oh, they're not gonna like me. This is a bad thing. You're just shut up and sit in your room, which was not what anybody should do. It's hard to reach out. I understand that. But when this big event that came up, me and my wife have been incredibly open with each other about absolutely everything. When I have my anxiety, I can turn to her, which is something that I couldn't do before. It's made my life tenfold better, knowing that I can turn to her, I can focus on my family, I enjoy my work again. I got half off the topic, but my last anxiety attack was over. It was 2 years ago, my son's surgery. It was, the date just passed. And I had gone home that day and just like freaked out. I was having anxiety attacks every like 15 minutes, panic attacks, like I was back in that hospital again. Because I pressed it down, knowing the night before it was coming, instead of talking with my wife about it. So my anxiety took over. I was driving home, I had to pull over, like short of breath, freaking out. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, I can't drive right now, but I need to get home. But I got ill that day, and I just couldn't keep it together. So everything that I'd worked for almost came crashing down again. It all came back. So I've done such a good job of stepping forward, but something just snapped at me that day. And it scared me. I've had suicidal thoughts before in my life. I haven't in a long time. But knowing that I was in that state, that mind state of I can't control myself right now, kind of scared me a little bit. I knew I wouldn't, go to that extreme thought again, but it's not a fun place.
Mm-hmm.
When you get stuck in your own head, there's countless things that can go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I've stepped forward a lot now, and I'm a much happier person than I was, say, 2 years ago. And being able to openly talk about this stuff is very calming in some way. And I can use my stories to kind of help people through what they're going through. I've helped quite a few friends in the last couple of years, but I got involved in other people's issues and started building up my own.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to take a step back, which I have now. And here I am today, a much more happy, much more confident person. And my anxiety doesn't run me anymore. I kind of run it, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
The other outlets that I used, actually, I brought an example along to show you, was I'm not a very good artist, but I did a couple paintings.
Oh, right on.
During my biggest bout of depression, where I spent basically 3 weeks at rock bottom, I try and paint a new painting every day.
That's awesome, man.
The two paintings, this one came first, and this one came about 10 days after. I would just put my brush to canvas and paint. This was an okay day. This was not.
Yeah.
I would always paint them the night, like just before I went to bed, I'd have a glass of wine just to relax. I'd just start painting. I'd put it up. I'd go look at it in the morning and think, well, what does this mean to me?
Yeah.
And so literally 10 days apart, really happy, things are going okay, I'm starting to collect myself. 10 days later, I'm alone in a spotlight, and I don't know what to do with myself.
Mm-hmm.
So depression can offset you very quickly. And finding a way to let it out is what everybody needs to do. I've been lucky to have many different opportunities with acting and painting and music and comedy. And I keep these as almost a memento, but at the same time, I've been letting paintings go every once in a while and be like, oh, somebody's like, I like that, how many you want, you can have it. Because it's like, it's something I express myself with, and I'm like,
letting it go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is ironically kind of what the balloon photo there is. Is when I looked at it the next morning, I'm like, you're surrounded by all these things, and the little gold, in my mind, I guess, represents the person. And you're just slowly letting things go that you don't need, but still surrounding yourself with things you want.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I painted that one 10 days later, that's kind of, when I first painted it, it gave me anxiety the next morning when I looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's, for those that can't see it, it's painting, basically the entire thing is black.
So here's the two paintings. If I don't know if you can see.
We'll get a shot of it after.
Okay. But,
Yeah, the one there is, the balloon one is just letting everything go, feeling good. 10 days later, I was back in that big ditch. And it felt like my anxiety was, you have to put on a show, basically, in public. For me, I don't want to have these attacks in public, so I would put face to whatever was happening to me at the time. So the mic to me is like standing center stage, and you just gotta go. You gotta perform. If you break down every time something gets to you, it makes things really hard. You gotta still, push through the day. So that painting really, it still almost gives me anxiety, but it's a relief now because I know I can beat it.
mm-hmm.
So I've been incredibly lucky to come out of this on top. I know a few people who haven't,
Yeah.
and there are people that won't, unfortunately. So the only thing I can say to you is please talk to somebody. It's the best thing you can do. Anybody. Even if you have a pet, just talk to your pet. You need to sometimes just let it out.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. It's so important just to let it out. Sorry. Yeah, man, I love everything you said, and I'm really glad that you're starting to starting to feel better, starting to let it out, and finding all the avenues to get it out. I think that's so healthy, and that's something that I've learned in the course of my life too. especially with music and even sports. But the expression thing too, I think, is really really important and invaluable for sure.
It is still a hard thing for me to talk about, but I know that I need to, and that's why I was really honored that you asked me to come on and talk about this today, because if any of my words can help someone, then I've succeeded.
Yeah.
Do something you wouldn't normally do. I wouldn't call myself a painter, but I did it because it seemed like something I wanted to try. It's always something that was in my mind.
Yeah.
And if the big like crash hadn't happened, maybe I would never have started painting. I haven't painted in a long time because it was during a bad phase. But nothing makes me not want to, but I'm just waiting one day to paint again, really.
Mm-hmm.
I've painted pictures for my kids. My daughter tells me all the time she loves the paintings, and that just makes me so happy that she can see these things. She doesn't know the meanings behind them, and maybe someday I will tell her. But I've done a special painting for both my kids. They have them in their rooms. I did a nice beach painting for my wife one day because I know she loves the beach, and it was just me trying to reach out to my family in a different way.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know how to talk right now, but like, here's something that makes you happy, and I'm thinking about you right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it happened. I was painting one day, and I just started putting colors down, and I was going to draw a window. I don't know why. Well, I kind of know why, but I was going to draw a window, and it ended up actually becoming an eye, like right up close. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I started painting it again with blue eye. And I realized before I finished, but not too soon, I was drawing my wife's eye. She has this cute little mark in her eye that's very faint, and you have to really look to see it. So once I put it together, I go, holy shit, that's because, I'm always thinking about her, and we were going through some rough stuff, and no matter what was going on, she was still on my mind. So when I was just unconsciously doing something, she was the first person I would think of.
Right.
It might have been the third painting I did. The first two were for my kids, just a chance. I did the fourth, because I did the beach for her, and then the eye happened next. Because it was her, and then I just started painting to express myself more. And it was just a really, really useful tool. And as I said, I've done comedy, music. Comedy's been a really good one for me. I get to get up and make people laugh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They
do say that apparently a lot of comedians are depressed, they're angry, they're sad, they're lonely, and I kind of get that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quote, I can't remember who said it, but it's the saddest people that want to make others laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't want them to be, feeling like them. So a lot of comedians are really sad people. But to make other people laugh kind of, brightens your day a little bit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I've taken that as that. And I do improv comedy too. That challenges me. It keeps me focused on everything that isn't my own problems. And I'm not ignoring my problems because I have to face them. But now I can face them with my family as opposed to on my own.
I think it's funny, just to go back to what you're saying, because I did a lot of paintings too, especially when I was going through dark times, and I think it's funny, like, what comes out in your subconscious.
Okay, I don't know. Take 10 minutes, look at it, and just be like, is that what that means? Probably. Maybe not. I don't know. And then my wife would see it, and she'd ask me how I was or what I was thinking about, and I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I would have an answer for it. But it was impressive. I did a series of paintings, basically 4 nights in a row. And I didn't realize till my wife pointed it out. In every painting, the wall was yellow. They're 4 very separate paintings. One is a door with a progress above it, but there's red like velvet line in front of it. So it was like, progress is closed, sorry. So I was feeling something bad that day, like I was stuck in a rut and I couldn't move forward because somebody was telling me I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
The next one I did was a clock, but it was like the face of a clock, but the numbers weren't actually on the clock and they were everywhere. And it almost like took me to this place of like, is my time really meaning how do I know if I'm using my time properly? Do I even pay attention to time? Time's a hard thing to try to capture it in essence, but I really liked the way that painting turned out. And the other 2 one was just a table with a glass with half full of water. And I posted it on my Instagram, just like half full or half empty. It was an age-old, saying, but it meant something to me that day. How am I going to choose to look at my life for the rest?
Mm-hmm.
Am I half full or half empty? For a long time, I was half empty.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm just like, I've got kids to look out for. I got an amazing wife that I need to, just make sure everybody in my family's happy.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth one was my daughter and her cat just sitting. She's just patting her cat. She wanted a picture of her and her cat. And so all these pictures were in this yellow room, and I was sitting there, and my wife's like, "You know what's happening, right?" I'm like, "I don't know." She goes, "You're painting our house," because I used to sit at my kitchen table and paint and look right out and into the living room at the yellow wall. So subconsciously, I was kind of drawing my thoughts on life at the time in my home because of this wall, and I didn't put it together. Somebody actually bought 2 of those paintings for me, which I was
Really?
like blown away. The door and the clock. They were like, "That's fantastic." It was a friend of mine. He's like, "I want those paintings." I'm like, "Oh, you can have them." He's like, "No, I'll give you some money for them." I'm like, "You don't have to." He's like, "No, I'll give you some money. You can get some more canvas and stuff." So it spoke to him.
Yeah.
He was super excited about it. Actually, bought 3 of them. Sorry, 3. One of them was totally random, but he bought 2 of the yellow room ones, and I didn't realize it was my life being literally projected onto that canvas.
Wow.
I didn't realize until she pointed it out.
Yeah.
And then the healing almost began there. I was like, I can express myself visually, because I'm not good with my words sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained that to my wife, so when I could put it on canvas, no matter how, mysterious it might be, because if somebody's looked at that, they might not know what was going through my head. But my wife tried to just look at it and think about what maybe it meant that day.
Mm-hmm.
And she was able to talk to me based on my paintings almost, which
Mm-hmm.
blew my mind. So she understood me in a way that I didn't think she could. Why I didn't want to talk to her before is that she wouldn't understand. She'd get worried and freaked out, but she's reached out to me in amazing ways.
That kind of seems like the common theme is that people are scared of how their loved ones will react. Yeah, if they'll know what to say. Yeah, that's like, I think that's like the common thing. Like they won't want to be with me anymore if I tell them how I really feel, or.
I know where you're coming from. I feel like being in my experience with it is that you're worried that you want to express yourself as you are to everyone, but the people you're closest to, you don't want to scare off if you're too open, or they might think, "Oh, if I tell you that I'm depressed, you're gonna think I'm crazy and you're gonna leave."
Mm-hmm.
And one of the few stabilities I had was my wife,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't want to risk telling her, but it sent me down that dark path of drinking all the
Yeah.
time and being scared of myself.
Yeah, it's like you didn't want to take out the foundation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But basically, the foundation had to fall, and we built back stronger than we've ever been. I wish I had told her years ago,
Mm-hmm.
but fortunately, I didn't do too much damage to repair, and now we're as happy as we've ever been.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you're a father of
2 kids.
2 kids. So has becoming a dad changed your mental health too?
Yeah, unfortunately, the worst of when I was, it was still, we'd had my daughter, and basically my son coming along, and we found out, it was by sheer luck that we found out that he had his heart condition before he was born. We were at the ultrasounds doing the photos, and they usually do I'll say the number 26. For some reason, this nurse decided to take a 27th, and in the 27th photo, they saw something. So if she hadn't done that extra photo, we wouldn't have known. We had to go to Halifax for him to be born. So we were on the island, we had to leave, we were monitoring doctor's appointments, tests, everything, and we didn't know if he was going to come out alive or not. It was a 50-50 shot. So that woke me up.
Mm-hmm.
That was the beginning of, I need to get my life together. If this little guy can pull through all this, what's stopping me from doing the same?
Mm-hmm.
So he inspired me to hike up my boots and give it everything I did. And it's been a long road, but I'm here today because of that little boy and that little girl that call me dad. If it wasn't for them, I don't know where I'd be. And I'm thankful for them every day. I'm not a religious person, so I'm not like, oh, thank God for the kids. I'm just like, thanks to my wife for sticking with me and giving me the two most important things in my life.
That's beautiful, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
still a little fresh off everything because of the anniversary of the surgery and everything, but it's good to talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful, man. Do you want to talk a little bit more maybe about maybe when you were younger and some of the signs people would look for, like some things that you went through?
Well, like I said, at first I didn't really understand, but it seemed like there was days where I didn't want to be around people. I was almost disappointed in myself for reasons I didn't understand. Like, I'd be at school and everything would be fine, and I would get little triggers. And I didn't know this at the time. Somebody would say something, or I'd hear something about something, and I would just get upset internally. I get like this tightness in my chest, and I'd start to freak out a little bit. And I'm like, why am I so worried about this? Why is this bothering me? Like, I don't understand. This isn't my problem. Why is this? And then the more I picked at myself, the more I closed into that little uncomfort. So by the end of school, I didn't have a lot of people to talk to because I was so worried about other people's stuff. I almost get away from me. I don't want anything to do with you. I got my own problems.
Okay. Yeah.
So I became inclusive to myself. So if there's anybody that almost feels this need to push people away, that's probably the time you need people most.
Yeah.
If you get that uncomfort, you wanna have. It doesn't have to be everybody. Just one person.
Mm-hmm.
Don't push everybody away. If you need space, you need space. But make sure there's still someone that you can go to.
Right.
Not everybody has that close of a friend. It could be a parent, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin.
Yeah.
Just somebody. You need at least one person at all times.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So if you feel that need, just make sure there's somebody. At least one person. It freaked me out then. It still freaks me out now, which is why I didn't tell my wife for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out. Always reach out. If you get upset by things and you don't know why, reach out. Talk to somebody. A school counselor even.
Mm-hmm.
We had one of those. I never would have even thought to go to one.
Mm-hmm.
These things are put into place to, help people.
Mm-hmm.
Counselors and even a teacher. If somebody's in school, you got a teacher. I have teachers that I now think back I could have talked to, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, for the young people out there, it's very important to have your space when you need it, but make sure that you have somewhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can get lonely by yourself. It's worse when you're by yourself. The more time you spend by yourself, the more you're in your head, the more upset I would get. So I know how quickly you can go from one worst to the next.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had been more educated younger, because maybe I would have started fighting it sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seemed like I didn't want to be singled out.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people that were in your school that were like, oh, I have problems with this kind of stuff, people made fun of, unfortunately, because that's what kids in school do.
Mm-hmm.
They're friggin' jerks.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to reach out.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. It's hard, but it'll change everything, I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the biggest advice I have. Back then I didn't know, but I should have reached out.
Drastically change your life and maybe save it.
I one time in my life, it still rattles me. I don't talk to this guy anymore, unfortunately, but apparently I talked him down from the edge once. And it was, I almost went into fight or flight mode for him. And I talked him through a lot of stuff. I was up for 6 hours one day just talking to him. Just like, bro, you gotta, it's not worth it. You can talk to me, talk to your mom, talk to somebody. And I stayed up with him, got through the night. Everything was good, and he's doing well as far as I know. Everything's good with him. And he still has his, moments, but I just did what I had to do one time. It was scary. It was really scary. I didn't know if I was going to talk to him or see him the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So, even if you know somebody that's in this kind of situation, reach out if you can see it. You don't have to make it like an awkward, like, hey, are you depressed? Just be like, hey, what's going on? You want to talk about anything?
Mm-hmm.
As much as you might need somebody out there might need you,
Mm-hmm.
and you might not know it. So, keep an eye out for some of the signs. Just distance, emotional, like quick to jump from one to another, angry, happy. You know, it's tough to judge what defines mental illness,
Mm-hmm.
but just keep an eye out for yourself, for your own, even for people down the road you might not know. If you see somebody that doesn't look happy, hey, how you doing today, sir? Like, just reach out.
Mm-hmm.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you suspect it, then definitely just saying like, how you doing today, or something,
Exactly. The guy I worked with, I did that. If he looked like he was having a bad day, I'd go and I'd crack a joke, I'd try and nudge him along, and I'd egg him on to talk to me, and we became very close. He's going through a lot of stuff in his life right now, but he's still a good guy. I check on him every day. We talk, we laugh. He has his bad days, I have my bad days, but at the end, we're still good friends, which is important that we were there for each other when we needed. I talked to him a little bit, he talked to me a little bit, and we just helped each other when we needed. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I hadn't have, started with my wife, really.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel the need to reach out and help when
Mm-hmm.
I can. I don't get too involved with people because, I don't want to get... I have this need to help people, and then their problems almost become mine.
Yeah.
Which is part of my trait, so I'm just like,
Yeah.
you want to talk, I'll talk. And I do my best, but I don't get too... If I get too involved, it's not good.
Yeah.
I start feeling it, and it gets bad.
Yeah. Well, I think the main thing for anyone that's going through things is people think they have to give them advice, or I think the main thing is just listening. Just someone, all they have to do is get it off their chest most of the time. So, and help them get to help, professional help. Especially if they need it. But like just listening is like pretty much the most you can do. Just try to help any way you can. But listening, I think, is very, very important.
Having an ear is
a lifesaver.
literally a lifesaver.
Yeah.
And don't take it for granted if you know somebody that might be going through it, like you said, just, hey, what's up, how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
They might not open up to you, but they know somebody's there.
Mm-hmm.
They know you care. Make sure you're there for them if they need it. They might not come to you, they might. Do with it what you will.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular that you can recall that kind of like sets off the anxiety?
I actually used to, I don't know where it came from, but I had, that's gone now, and I'll explain where that went, an irrational fear of, which is hilarious, an irrational fear of fish.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why, but when I'm in something else's environment, it freaks me out a little bit. I don't know why. So we go to the beach, my wife loves the beach, and I was like, alright, I'll go to the beach, you like the beach. But we were in the water down at T Hill or something, and the water was just coming in. My kids love the beach too, so they were playing around in the water, and for some reason, as the water was just slowly coming in, it was there for a while, I began to feel that choking feeling that I had when I was younger, like closing in on me, and I don't know why. It was freaking me out. I was having this absolute crazy anxiety over it, and that triggered me like all hell. My wife could see it, and this was kind of around when we started talking about stuff, so she came over, she calmed me down, and that was nice. So I have weird environmental triggers, or if I hear something that reminds me of something from my past that I struggled with, it might be like somebody going through a similar situation, and I want to reach out and be like, yo, it's fine, you can be fine, but you can't always do that. So if I hear somebody else going through something, I get a little bit of stress over it, like, I know what you're going through and I want to help you, but I can't necessarily do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it stresses me out when I can't help people, knowing that they could be going through what I went through. But that's why I offer that, like, hey, how you doing? Like, everything good today? So I've been triggered by other people being triggered, which is not great, but I've found my way back so many times now. I don't want to say I'm getting good at it, but I'm getting good at it. It's mostly just things that might be impactful to my family. I get worried over worst case scenarios all the time. Like, I can't not think of, well, what if this happened?
Right.
What if this happened? And then the spiral starts, and then I get a little bit depressed, I get a little anxious, I get a little anxiety started, and sometimes I just gotta breathe myself down. A thing I use, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, have you heard of the term Reiki?
So the kind of music?
Nope. It's a, I don't know the proper definition of it technically, I should, but it's the process of energy healing.
Yes. No, sorry. One of my guests was talking about it. It's a type of therapy.
Yeah. My wife is having a bunch of pain with stuff, and she had this like weird, like her veins clamped down her when she was pregnant with my daughter, and she almost had like stroke-like symptoms. And a couple of years ago, she had that same experience again. And so I rushed her to the hospital, and we were sitting there talking. We finally got in because the waiting rooms are horrible.
Yeah.
We got in, we're sitting there, we're still waiting about 20 minutes for the nurse, and she's in a lot of pain. And she goes, have you ever heard of Reiki? And I was like, no. She goes, essentially what it is you focus your positive energy, your positive healing, and you pass it on to someone else. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is... And I'm like, okay, it's probably been like 2 minutes. Stop. She's like, our vision was kind of blurry, it came back, the pain in her head had stopped, the pain in her chest had stopped. And I'm like, really? It's only been like 2 minutes of this? She's like, it's been 15 minutes. And I was like, what? And then I stopped, looked at my hand was bright red and like radiating heat. And I was like, what the hell does this mean? And so I looked into Reiki and I started kind of studying it. And the whole process is essentially just passing on positive energy to heal your chakras. All the different parts of your body are connected with energy and all this stuff. And before doing that with my wife, I would have thought, total bullshit, it's not real. But then doing it with her and then studying it, I learned about crystals, I learned about how to set up my own Reiki space, and I've used that as an incredible tool to bring myself out of these freak out moments. What I do essentially for myself is I have this in my head, this mental image of a space I've created. It's always the same. It only slightly changes with the season, but it's this house I have in the woods. I'm the only one that knows how to get there. And I go there, I have a relaxing area with a fire, and I just sit. I can close my eyes and put myself there at any point, and it just brings me down. It's this safe space I've created for myself mentally. And I use that to combat some of my biggest anxiety moments. Is I need to just focus, I sit back, I put myself this little couch. I can visualize as soon as I close my eyes, I have a door to my left. There's a fireplace behind me, a table. Front is all windows. And there's a little corner around there where the kitchen is. I don't know why it's a kitchen, I don't cook in there. But the room over here has a purple mat for some reason and candles. I can go in there, I'll meditate, or I'll sit on my couch. If I'm doing Reiki for somebody, I'll visualize them in the middle of the floor, and the way you do it is you put your hands over the place that you're healing. So I've done it for my kids, I've done it for friends, and they've actually felt the effects of it. I've done long distance stuff with a friend who was at his house, I was at my house, and helped him with a lot of stress he was going through and everything. And when he finished, he was just like, I've not felt like this good in a long time. He slept like a baby. The next morning, he's like, I feel incredible. So I'm just like, it sounds crazy, but I do now believe that positive energy has an effect, 100%. Technically, I'm a Reiki master because I did a course, So I can do Reiki for people. I can teach it because I've gotten the proper certificates. Because I guess in theory it's a what's the proper term? A healing form from like Japan years and years and years ago, created by, I can't remember the guy's name right now, but it's actually a really interesting topic for anybody that likes to meditate.
Yeah.
And find like a peaceful zone.
Yeah.
Reiki is a really, really impactful piece of knowledge to understand. I have a bunch of stones at home. I use those for healing. My hands almost go warm when I touch certain stones, which again, you told me this 2 years ago, I go, no, you're fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But it's incredible what positive energy can do for you. It's crazy. Like, you have one of the salt rock lamps. I have one of those. It's amazing. It's almost feel the heat. I can be across the room and almost feel the heat from it, just because it's meant to be pure and clear and all that stuff. So it's just blows my mind what you can do if you put your mind to it.
Mm-hmm.
If you focus on what you want. I believe that the stars do provide what you want. If you think hard enough, if you try hard enough, if you get yourself in that zone, you'll be there. So I strongly advise anybody, check out Reiki. There's Reiki masters everywhere. I didn't realize how many there were on P.E.I. Reach out, go talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite an experience.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's really cool stuff, yeah. One of my guests recently, Jackie McKay, she was the mother of, I don't know if you heard that podcast, but she was the mother of my friend who died of cancer. And sorry if I get the story wrong, but I believe she was going through a really hard time. And she was at Reiki, and the person touched a spot on her knee, and she immediately felt like 100 times better. And basically, he had got cancer first in his knee. That's where it started. He's like, and they said that she was carrying the pain from her son in her knee, basically. And yeah, it's just really cool stuff, man.
Yeah, I 100% believe that she could hold on to something like that, but the energy, because she's going to be thinking about that all the time. So there's going to be pain in that spot for her, because it led to something so devastating for her that it's going to constantly be there, and she needs to clear that. And Reiki can allow you to do that. The chakras, again, I haven't studied this in a while. I only use it for my own personal stuff, is crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar plex, and root. And essentially when I would do Reiki, I would just clear all of the chakras. And then if there was a pain in a certain area, I'd focus on that area. But I always started top down, washing out any pain, any uncomfort, any issues, try to clear that out.
Okay.
And then work on the spots that need it.
Right.
So it's basically like a clearing your aura when you start every time. So you feel fresh, you feel incredible. Some people get really tired after, some people feel energized after. I used to have really bad insomnia, and when I started doing Reiki, I would fall asleep in 5 minutes.
Really?
Blew my mind. I'd put on like some meditation tunes, I'd go to my space.
So there's meditation is a big part of it?
Yes, very big. You do a lot of self-cleansing, so essentially it's the same thing, you're healing, but you're going to different points of your body. So I clear out the chakras, go away to my knees, to my feet, and then just do like a full little thing at the end with the meditation going, and then I'd lay back in my bed for 10 minutes, put myself in the zone, and I'd fall asleep. In the middle of the day, I can't do that.
Really?
It made me so comfortable, so relaxed, I'd just be able, my wife would come and find me 40 minutes later sleeping.
Wow.
And I can't sleep anywhere. And it's incredible what it does for me.
That's awesome.
So
is there breathing involved?
It's more of a just relax. There's no patterns, I don't believe, but it's just certain things will be like big one in and then just hold and then out. And once you get into a comfortable rhythm, it'll just kind of hold you there, and then you just relax. Let your body go limp. You feel weird feelings, tingling, whatever. Everybody feels it differently. It's changed my life again. Another one of these outlets. I didn't mention it during outlets because it slipped my mind, but it's an incredible thing that sounds crazy, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't believe until it happened, and then it happened, and I was just, holy shit.
Yeah, man. Well, I think like meditation and mindfulness, just that part of it alone is like so beneficial.
100%.
And like, I think the people like, I mean, there's all kinds of different ways to meditate, but I think people kind of like, you hear meditation and it sounds like kind of like people don't understand it, I guess. It's not like a common thing to do. It's like, there's kind of like this barrier until you do it. But there's also kind of like, you can do it in your own way where you just like, take time to be in your own mind and, you know, go to that spot you were talking about or whatever it is, or even just be in your own mind and work through whatever you got going in your mind, you know. I think that's like, just mindfulness in general is super, super important.
Taking moments for yourself is very important, and meditation is an incredible way to do it. I thought it was all mumbo jumbo baloney.
Yeah, and you think that because meditation, like, people probably do like, you know, some kind of signaling like, oh, I meditate every day, but it's like, it's actually so beneficial just to do it, and you know what I mean. You don't even like, you can call it meditation or you can call it just breathing for 10 minutes by yourself, but you'll feel so much better. It's crazy.
It clears you out. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. And I haven't been studying my Reiki. I got my mastery, and I considered doing it quite often, but it came to me when I needed it.
Mm-hmm.
I used it, and now it's just a tool that I have at any point, and it still helps me out from time to time. If I can't sleep, I don't know. It's amazing. This Reiki space I built for myself in my mind. I can go there anytime, and it's just the calmest feeling I've ever had. I do that when my kids are like having crazy days, and I just like take 5 minutes. I sit down, and I just go there, and I can relax, and I'm good to go for another like 5 hours of getting the crap kicked out of me by kids.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just need that minute. Taking a minute to breathe is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Even fresh air. Go outside and just a couple deep breaths, just away from the noise of whatever's getting at you. It's hard to, as somebody that has suffered from dealing with my own thoughts, it's hard to sometimes just take 5 minutes to not think, but it's incredible, those 5 minutes, what they can do for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just to relax, to forget it all, just breathe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Yeah, it's all temporary, you know, just remove yourself from it temporarily and then you come back, feel so much better. Thanks so much for coming here, man.
Well, thank you.
And thanks, like, you shared some really beneficial stuff.
That's what I was hoping to do.
Yeah. So thanks so much for that, man.
Thank you. I had a great time, and hopefully my words can help somebody somewhere somehow, and
yeah,
just hold in there. There's no reason to get down on yourself. There is a light. You just gotta find it.
Wise words. Amazing. Thanks so much, man.